All right, let's see if I did this correctly. Okay, looks like we're set up. All right, sorry for the delay. It takes a second when I'm doing two platforms at once. My name is Yancy. I am a dating coach, and I am going to be talking today about 5 dating rules that every woman needs to know. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up here. All right, let's get back in. We're going to be talking about things that are going to help you drastically when it comes to dating. These are 5 tips that you want to hold on to, write them down, memorize them, never forget. The dating experience should be fun. And typically that comes when you know what things to avoid. There are just going to be natural things that you can't control, but these are things that you can be mindful of. Hey, Kaylee, good to have you. All right, so let's just dive right in. We're going to go into number 1. The first thing is understand men's perspective. This is something that I am very passionate about. I wanted to know that I had the inside scoop. I wanted to know that I understood the way that a man is wired so that I can appeal to him for personal reasons. I wanted to be something that he was desirable. So something that he found desirable. So I'm going to give you 5 tips within this first rule that you can learn and benefit from. Okay, men fall in love through investment and not just attraction. What that means is if a man works for you or he has to work for you, he values what he works for. If you give in too soon, he just gets everything off rip, whether it is, constant availability, you're always putting in a ton of effort, or you are emotionally invested right away, he just won't feel the need to step up. Okay. This is just how they are wired. And men, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. It's the truth. It's just human nature. It's kind of like kids. If you do everything for them, they will never grow. They will never develop. They will never mature. They're just going to continue having the spoon in their mouth, so to speak. So you want to make sure that you are not, just going off of his attraction alone. You want to watch and see if he is willing to invest in you. And the biggest thing that a man can invest in you with is his time. That's the resource you cannot ever get back. Okay. So let him pursue you, let him invest in you. That is how his feelings will begin to deepen. The second tip under understanding men, they value peace in relationships. This is really, really big for them. And if a man sees you as somebody who is constantly bringing stress into his life, drama, you're wreaking emotional chaos, he is going to say, I'm out of here. Most guys, it doesn't matter if there is this, attachment emotionally or they're developing. Once he sees that you are going to take away from his life, he is going to get out of there. The third thing is, thank you, Kaylee. She said it's really good already. The third thing is men's actions matter more than words. There is a phrase, if you've heard the old timers say, silver tongued devil, right? This guy is good with his words. He says what we want to hear. Oftentimes, women, we just hear things and it's, he can say whatever and we'll just eat it up. But what's more important than his words are his actions. Okay. He should be saying the words, but the action should back up the words. So you want to make sure you're not getting caught up in his potential or what he says that he wants. His true intentions are revealed through his actions. If he is inconsistent, okay, key word, if he is inconsistent, if he is vague, if he doesn't make an effort, believe those actions instead of making excuses for him. I get tons of clients who say, yeah, but I think it's because of this. And I think it's, and I say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the why. What matters is the what. And the what is that he is not putting you in a space where you feel loved and cherished. So if it is gray, walk away. That's been my thing for 2025. If it's gray, walk away. No relationship that has made it where they're happy has the woman ever said, I was just so confused at the beginning. I didn't know if you liked me or not. Men are very clear when they want to be. And if they are vague, it is intentional. Okay. So accept that. The fourth tip within the first rule, Men respect women who set standards and enforce them. Now, here is where it gets tricky. If you set your standards and it eliminates men, you might be tempted to say, oh no, my standards are too high, instead of realizing that's the purpose of standards. Those of you who have taken my coaching programs or listened to my lives, I love to use the real estate example. If you say, I'm selling this house, I'm doing an open house, but you cannot come unless you can show that you are qualified and this house is $3 million. Well, if tons of people who were initially wanting to see the house remove their request to come, that shouldn't make you say, oh no, let me change the qualification. It goes, oh wow, just eliminated people who are not qualified. Now somebody comes in, I know that they are qualified to pay the $3 million, and we actually have some people that might be in a position to buy. These are not just people looky-loos, or I've never seen $1 million mansion, I want to come see it. These are actual people who have qualified to actually purchase the house. Okay. Understand that if you have standards, it's not your job to threaten the guy. So for example, if you say, if you do this, I'm not gonna stick around, or if you do this, I'm gonna do that. You just have your standards and you can express your standards. And if he doesn't adhere to your standards, actions, then you walk away. If you say, for example, I don't want to date someone who can go 3-5 days without talking to me, it doesn't make me feel loved, and he continues to go 3, 4, 5, 6 days without talking to you, it's not your job to say, okay, I gave you the first warning, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, you walk away. You walk away because they're not doing what it is that you require. And this is where you really find out if you have self-love. If you truly have self-love, you see your standards as protection from foolishness. You see your standards as something that keeps you safe. So if you, every time you get around a guy you think is sexy and his beard connects and he's got side teeth, you go, well, I know he travels a lot, and you start making excuses, you are not protecting yourself. You are taking down the very gates that are designed to protect you. You're unlocking the very deadbolt that you installed to protect you. So what's the point in creating a standard if you're going to get rid of the standard that is there to protect you? Okay. Shout out to you on Instagram. If you want me to see your comments right away, come on over to YouTube. I could see them a lot faster there because they could show up on my computer. I'm over here as Chasing Yancey. You can see me right away if you just type in Chasing Yancey on YouTube. But shout out to everyone on Instagram. YouTube really shows love to live views. So if you enjoy my stuff and you want to help me, just jump on over to this platform. And this is where the replay will be. Number 5. This is so important. Men need to feel needed. Notice I didn't say they want to feel needed. They need to feel needed, not just wanted. So in this day and age where there are so many women who have their own and don't need a man, you still need to find a way for him to feel needed. Okay? Just like women need to feel loved and cherished. They need to feel it. So this is not something that you can negotiate. This is not something you can justify. This is not something that they need to, intellectually articulate. You just need to understand that that is the truth. They need to feel needed. That is how God wired them. Okay. He needs to feel like he adds value to your life. And if you act like you don't need anything from him, he won't feel fulfilled in the relationship. And the sad thing is, because a lot of women don't understand men, they actually think that they're telling him something that is an asset. They're going, don't worry, I'm not a liability because I take care of everything on my own. So you don't have to worry about this and this. I got it. And they think that they're looking at it through a woman's eyes, because a woman doesn't want a man as a liability. She doesn't want to go, oh, this is now something I got to take care of. But that is something that a man takes pride in. He likes to be able to say, hey, I hold things down. So you definitely don't want to, brag about that as though it is something benefiting him, because it is actually doing the opposite. It will be a turnoff to him. So let him help, let him provide, let him protect, let him show up in whatever way he is offering to, because it makes him feel masculine. So what do you do if you feel guilty? Like, oh my God, I feel bad. He's paying the bills, all the, whenever we have a date, he pays for this. And oh, you changed my tire, blah, 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 blah. The best thing you could do for a man is show appreciation. Show appreciation. Let him know, hey, that was helpful. I needed that. Wow. You are my hero. You are my savior. You showed up and you saved the day. That isn't that beautiful that that's really all they, and you could do little gestures. You could, bake some brownies. You don't have to match his energy. Oh, but he just spent $275 on a meal, so I got to drop. No, 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 no. Do something sweet. Hey, I know you really like this college. I had this hat. There was a hat that, I thought was kind of cool. Or I know this is your favorite, cashews, and it's hard to find them. And I just happened to see them at the airport, so I got them for you. You can do little gestures like that, but you don't need to match what he's doing specifically. Okay. A big thing, a quick plug for my course. We spend 2 weeks talking about men and understanding what they need and want, and what turns them off. So many times as women, we could just get so focused on what we want and what our standards are and what checks we need the man to check, what boxes they need to check, and don't really have a good understanding of what men need. So when we finally find the guy that fits what we're looking for, we don't have the ability to attract him, and he loses interest and leaves. So you want to make sure that you know enough about men and their needs so that you can inspire him to commit. All right. So that's rule number 1. Let me know in the comments if that was helpful to you. We're going to move on to rule number 2. Be confident in your value. I think this is easily the number 1 area where I see weakness in women. A lot of times when I really ask questions and we start to unpack all of their nervous energy, the nerves are around, is he going to like me? Is he going to choose me? It's a lot of intimidation that is not coming from the guy. It's coming from within, which is why very first lesson in my course is all about dealing with mindset, really seeing where you are. What is your perception of yourself? This is going to be obvious to anyone who interacts with you, how you feel about yourself. Okay. So a lot of women, because they are just grateful to have someone, they will settle. They will settle for whoever's around. If they have to chase him down, if they have to do all the heavy lifting, they'll still settle. Okay. But if you have done the work and you understand your worth, then you're going to naturally attract a man who is going to be very happy to take you off the market. You will not have to hunt him down. You will not have to beg. You will not have to manipulate and give him ultimatums. Okay. Hey, I see a lot of my course members here. Hey, girlies. Confidence is, I can't state enough how important confidence is. When you are not confident and you're insecure, you will often find yourself over explaining, over texting, and over investing in situations that are not reciprocated. One of the biggest signs of self-love is that you remove yourself from situation where his energy is not where your energy is. It should be this beautiful volley, this like tennis match of energy. He gives, you give, he gives, you give, he gives, you give, and it's reciprocal. Not one person is giving. And men watching, this is for you too. You should not be doing all the giving and she's not reciprocating. It should be this beautiful dance that continues throughout life. Okay. These are 5 dating rules every woman needs to know. We're going to move on to rule number 3, master your feminine energy. This is a question that I ask every woman who does a discovery call with me, which is basically just a consultation to see if the course is right for her. And I tell her the scenario and I say, all right, let's say I know your exact type. We've talked. I know exactly what you're into. And I say, this guy is like the exact specimen that you're looking for. He is muscular. He is smart. He is well-spoken. He's packing. He is generous. He is into you. He is, oh my God, he is just chef's kiss. There's just one thing. He didn't have a lot of men in his life and didn't have a lot of role models. So he's completely heterosexual, but he's just very effeminate. He's very feminine. There's hardly any masculinity in him. And I say, would you want that guy? Rich, hung, muscular, handsome, gonna be faithful, loyal. What do all women say? Well, with the exception of one. One was like, ooh, I was like, you were thinking about it? But all the other women were like, ew, no, ew. That just goes to show you how important that polarity is. We don't want a man, Freudian slip, we don't want a man who feels like sister girl. We don't want a man that we want to be like, hey, girl, hey. We want a man who is masculine because we're feminine. Well, the same thing is for men. Men value femininity so much. This is why men go to the ends of the earth for some women. Some men will give their life for women. They do a lot of the stuff that they do to try to impress women, okay? Feminine energy is really big. So you need to master your feminine energy. And of course, I teach this in my course. This is another 2-week lesson that I do. 2 weeks on femininity, 2 weeks on understanding men. But feminine energy is about being receptive rather than forceful. So essentially, all the girls who go through my program understand that they need to be aware of who is choosing them, who is initiating to them, and then deciding if they want to receive and reciprocate. They're not going out and doing. They are not making things happening. They are not forcing. They are not pushing. They are receiving and allowing and accepting. Does that make sense? That is the feminine. It is receiving, accepting, allowing. You might be thinking that feminine energy is about, being weak, but really it's just being soft and vulnerable. But it's very, very powerful. Do not underestimate feminine energy. Okay. It is dangerous in the wrong hands. And a man is drawn to a woman who trusts him to show up and do what he needs to do rather than control him like she's his mom. Okay. Let's get to rule number 4. Rule number 4, don't fixate on one man too soon. Too many times as women, we have this fantasy about love. And so we could be recently getting to know somebody, only have known him for a couple days, and already be head in the clouds and fantasizing about what it could be. And you're way too deep. You're way too invested. He has not had the time to show you what he's all about. So don't attach to someone before he has demonstrated consistency. Observe his actions over time. See what he's all about, okay? During the early stages, there is absolutely nothing wrong with keeping your options open. If, let's say, you meet a guy on Tuesday and he seems really cool, and then Thursday you meet another guy, don't say, oh, well, I already gave him my number. It is okay. It is absolutely okay. You want a man to work for the situation, work for your hand, and that is how he values you. Again, you might have men disagree, but this is the reality of what they respond to. So I'm not talking about, you're 3 months in, he's been doing all this stuff. I'm talking about he hasn't even gotten to the point where he's saying that you're what he wants. Don't just start shooting down other options. Okay. All right, let's get to the last one. Rule number 5, set standards, not ultimatums. This kind of goes into what we were saying in an earlier point. You don't have to beg when you've done the work and you know who you are. You don't have to beg. You set your standards and you walk away if those standards aren't met. You don't beg. You don't give people, you got into whatever to get married. I remember having a conversation with my guy and I said, what's your timeline? Like, how long would it take you to know if you wanted to get married or not? And he said, man, I feel like if a year comes and we still don't know what we're doing, we got to move around. And I said, I couldn't agree more. And so he knew that my expectation was we're not going to go past a year and not know what we're doing. There's going to be a plan in place. And so I had every plan to move forward if that was not the case. Because my goal is to not be in a forever relationship. My goal is to be in a marriage. So you set a standard, you don't give ultimatums. This is the thing. If a guy is interested and he values you, right? It's not just an attraction thing. He will rise to meet your expectations. You will see men bending over backwards to become what the woman says she needs him to be. If he does not do this, he's not the right man for you. And same thing with you. If you really love a man and you are into him and he asks for certain things, you're going to do everything in your power to make those adjustments so that you could stay together, as long as it's not asking you to compromise your morals and values and things like that. Okay. Or shame yourself or something. Anyway, those are the 5 rules that I wanted to share. If you enjoyed this, please go ahead and hit that like button if you are on YouTube. If you were watching this on Instagram, please take a moment and come over to YouTube and smash that like button. That way it'll push the information to the algorithm and let YouTube know that you were enjoying this content, and it'll show it to more people. Quick thing, next week, I'm doing a Zoom call. I haven't decided what day, but I'm emailing everybody who is registered to be on my singles database. It's free to register. And I'm contacting everybody who signs up, because I have your email once you do that. And I'm going to invite everyone to a Zoom call where I'm going to break down all the nitty gritty, everything you need to know about the singles database. The guys are very excited to have access to that very soon. My enrollment, second thing, my enrollment is open for my my February class. It's an 8-week program. So if you want to be a part of that, go to my Instagram page, click the link in my bio, and you can see where it says dating manual. Click on that to be able to set up a discovery call, and then we'll see if it's a good fit for you. Last thing is tomorrow's show here on YouTube. If you're watching on Instagram, on YouTube, Thursday nights, I go live from 7 to 9. And then if people extend the show, we go longer. But we're going to be talking about how to work with a partner who has conflict avoidance, who try to avoid conflict, basically. So this is somebody who, when you bring things up, they tend to shut down. They want to stop the conversation. They want to physically get away. And then you, the other person, stressed out because you're like, we're not resolving anything. I don't feel like you're hearing, and it could be very frustrating. So I'm going to share some tips that I found really helpful after doing some research. Oh, thank you, Kaylee. She said, it's worth it. Thank you so much. I'm glad you liked the class. And so we're going to be talking about that personality, conflict avoidant personalities. Okay. So make sure you set your alarms for tomorrow, 7 to 9 Central. That is 8 to 10 Eastern, and Pacific time. That is 5 to 7. All right, y'all. I will talk to you later. Have a great day.